Hey now, watch out. What? Yes.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Two Beers with the Band. I'm your host, Chris Schrum. Thanks to everyone that is joining us for the first time, and welcome back to all those who have listened since day one. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to catch every episode. Now, on with the interview of your next favorite artist. All right, Miss Luna Marcella, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing great. So you are a singer, songwriter, and artist.
That is correct.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and let us know what you're sipping on?
All right. Well, first I'll tell you guys what I'm sipping on. I decided to go with my Asahi Japanese beer. Yes, I love it. It is a dry beer. It's amazing. It has a very crisp taste. And it's just, it's amazing. Don't forget to tip your glass over so you guys don't overcut it.
All right.
I love it. It's just got a really crisp taste and it's really, really good. If you guys have not tried this beer, please do. It's called Asahi. It's a dry Japanese beer. So check it out. It's amazing.
All right. And I'm going to be sipping on a Gruyere. I may have said that wrong, but a Gruyere Dunkel.
Right okay. There. Nice.
Yeah, that's I have never seen anything from this brewery before. I caught this about 30 minutes before we came on. I thought, you know what? I definitely want to check that out.
Yes.
So
that's going to be good. And cheers, by the way. Cheers.
Yes, cheers.
Kampai.
But
that looks amazing.
Is a beautiful beer.
Is it almost like similar to like Guinness? I wonder.
It really isn't.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be a lot lighter. You can tell by look. You can't really see on screen, but it's kind of a dark mahogany color.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's very, very clear.
Mine is very light. Very light. Just like me. No, boy.
It has some beautiful roasted malt.
Mine has a really good scent too as well. It's very like citrusy. It's got a citrus scent.
All right. Well, what does it taste like?
Let's see. It has like a couple of notes. If you've ever tasted Blue Moon, similar to Blue Moon a little bit, but a little bit more citrusy.
Okay. Well, mine has kind of a roasted malt has a little bit of a nuttiness to it.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Very light hops. More of a this almost has a coffee note.
I love coffee. It's my number. I love coffee.
It's not a real heavy coffee note, but it's definitely in there.
It's got that roast taste.
Yeah, but
nice.
The hops kind of clean it up and just make it, I'm not going to say dull, but kind of brings the flavor down. But that's nice beer. I really enjoy that. So I'm going to pour myself a little bit more.
Nice.
So, I guess my first question is, who is Luna Marcella?
Who is Luna Marcella? Well, let me tell you guys a big story about me. Now playing. Well, me, I'm a singer-songwriter. I've been basically into music for a really long time. And I started when I was like younger. I always did my little fun notes. I started off with the Disney Channel, as a lot of us do. And I got into music. And once I turned like 13, that's when I was like, I want to be a singer. I want to be an artist. For the longest time, I always wanted to be like a famous artist, but now that I'm older, I don't really want to be a famous artist. I mean, if it comes with the beautiful things of it, then yes, but there's just such not great stuff in the industry that which is coming out now, that I'm like, oh, I want to stay away from that. But it's been a really good journey because I grown so much by writing and learning myself and learning the music that relates to me and that represents me, because a lot of people, like, they can try to mimic other artists. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be original. Like, for instance, like Tina Turner, it's Tina Turner when you hear her music, or Sade, it's Sade. So I want people to remember me like, okay, that's Luna Marcella, that's her music, that's her writing, that's her skill. Like, that's kind of like my legacy that I want to like leave behind, like for people that like my music, and also for my family, because they can always go back and listen to those things. And when I write, I'm a storyteller. So I like to write about mystical things, or I'll like to write about reality, things that happen to people in like breakups, makeups, struggles, empowerment, sadness, happiness, everything that will trigger those strings in you. That's like makes you feel something where it's like, oh my gosh, I relate to that. And that's what I really wanted my music to do, is to have it to be relatable to people, to make it into their own like world. Like, like when they listen to it, it doesn't have to be the way I envision it. I want them to envision it the way they want to envision it themselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, when you write the music, is all everything you write about something that you've gone through, or do you write about experiences of others as well?
I
Is
do
everything
both.
okay?
Yeah, I do both. I do both. Sometimes I write about what I'm going through, or I'll write about others and what they're going through. But I also write about stuff that makes it, go into that like dream world. I think that's really important because we can't take life seriously all the time. Sometimes we just gotta just live in the moment. Like, don't take serious so like much. It's just it takes away from the art. So it's just like you want to make sure that you're true to yourself and true to who you are. Most of my music, believe it or not, I do write, but a lot of my stuff is freestyle. So when somebody plays a song or a melody, it could be country, it could be jazz, it could be rock, it could be pop, I listen to it, and without even knowing the song, they can play it and I'll just freestyle it. And a lot of my songs that I have out, like Everlasting with DSYG, a couple of other ones like Within These Pages, all of those were all freestyled, and they're all taken by one take. And a lot of people are like, wow, how do you do that? I was like, it's just the feeling I get that I put down while I'm recording. So I don't have like a huge engineer, big broadcast type of thing. I pretty much do everything on my like own when it comes down to doing my vocals. But the producers I work with, they usually do everything else, like, with the effects and all that stuff. But me personally, I literally just work like in my little closet with my GarageBand, and you know what I mean? And I
Right.
literally record myself, and I'm like, hey, you know what? This is going to work. And I'll just put down I have like these like purple lights in the back. I light my candle, put my little incense, and I just go and just whatever comes out.
Right.
Perfect Timing was like that too as well. It's a very like soulful empowerment song for when people like try to break you down. It's another one I did with DSYG. And then another one that I did that I really enjoyed a lot, well, I love all of them I did, but was it with Explorers. They're amazing. They do more like chill music. So they have like a lot of songs that we've done that were just incredible. Like, it gets you lost in another time. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's got that really crisp type of sound. And it's just like, oh man, you want to just like relax at home. Those are the type of songs you want to listen to.
What kind of or what genre of music do you write for?
I don't have a specific one I write for, because again, I basically don't put myself in a box. I like write whatever comes to mind. Like, sometimes if I'm working on a project, I'll do rock, or I'll do pop, or I'll do jazz. Right now my focus is like more jazz, lo-fi, so I've been putting more of that kind of out. But this next couple of songs that are going to be coming out, it's going to be more like R&B rap attire. So it always changes. It's never like, okay, you're just doing jazz, or you're just doing pop music. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What was it like growing up listening to so many different styles of music and having all of them appeal to you?
Oh, oh man, music. Okay, this is a story. I'm gonna tell you guys. My mom is she used to like cut Santana's hair. So we were around music always. Always when we were young. We used to go to Ben Bays. We used to go to like a lot of art shows. My mom was in Oakland and California because that's where I'm naturally from. And it was such an amazing journey because my mom introduced us to music in a way where it wasn't just one style of music. She listened to everything. She listened to Indian music. She listened to Bali music. She listened to Pikami music. I mean, we in our household, we had a lot of old school jazz, different cultures of music, Native American, like, music. And growing up in that kind of household, your mind and your music abroad is just it's open like Pandora's box because you're not just segregated to like one style of music. You know how like some people when they grow up it's kind of like okay, example country music. If you're in the south you listen to country, you're used to it, it's something you always love to do, or rock or soft classic rock. But when you open that door as a younger adult or younger kid, it's like whoa, your whole world turns upside down because you never even knew that there was that type of music, which is why a lot of people say when they get older, they like more jazz or they like more soft rock or oldies or something will connect with them, or like the 70s, early 20s type of style of music. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think that's like a big part of it. But having that when you're young, how I grew up with all types of different genres of music, it opened up my abroad of just of the capability of what I can do myself, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because the music I do is just it can be all over the place. So I love it though. I mean it was a great way of growing up to have different cultures of music and different styles of music and not being categorized in one box, if that makes sense.
Yeah. At what point did you realize that you were going to be involved in music at the level that you are now?
Actually, it happened 3 years ago. 3 years ago was when I really was like, you know what? I want to do music. I haven't really taken it too seriously. I've done it, but I haven't really pushed it. You know what I mean? Really worked on the stuff because I was always coming up with excuses like, oh, I'll do it next year or I'll do it because I was always working because I worked for really big companies and it was really hard to, do music on the side when you work like 12-hour shifts or something like that.
Yeah.
And once I got into it, I was like, you know what? I really love doing this and it made me happy. It made me feel good. And I was like, and I felt accomplished. I don't know if that, when you do something you love and you're doing it, you feel accomplished. You feel like you've been persistent on it and you feel like you are getting closer and closer to where it is that you were trying to go from the get-go. So I think 3 years ago was when I really pushed myself. Like, and it's paid off because when I started, it was very hard for me because I started off by myself and then I met a person out here because I ended up moving to Michigan. And I met some really awesome artists. One guy, his name is Victorino, and he was like, "Hey, you should come to this like audition thing for Southwest Fest, and it's a festival that's out here." And that opened up so many doors for me that it just unlocked like so much potential because I met a lot of producers like Tommy Poppy, Danny S. And then when I went on online, I reached out to a couple of artists. DSYG, he was amazing. He did a lot of beats, and I was like, I reached out. I was like, "Hey, do you do collaborations by any chance?" And he was like, "Yeah." And then we started working. And then 3 years later, our first track that we did was a Christmas song out of everything, and it just blew up. And before I knew it, I opened up a Spotify, and then I did the SoundCloud, and I didn't think like much of it. But then once I hit like 5,000, I was like, whoa, this is really going somewhere. And then 10,000 and then 13,000 views. And it started building up from that. And then I got in touch with my other friend. He's also in a group called Honor Flow Production. His name is Chuck. He's amazing. He lives in LA. We started working on some more projects, and I haven't really worked on any project with him for like a while. So we worked on a Christmas song as well. So it was kind of like Christmas was like the thing. Like it was like, okay, it's Christmas. It's gonna be Christmas in a couple months. Let's work on a Christmas album. Let's do it because I have one that's called The Gingerbread Man with Honor Flow Productions. It's amazing. We also did Summertime. I did like a summertime song. And that's where it started. And then all of a sudden, everything just started coming together. And then more producers wanted to work with me and they reached out to me and they're like, "Hey, I would really love to work with you because you have an amazing voice. I think you're very talented. And would you be interested in working?" And I'm like, "Of course," because I love collaborating with other artists. It's the best feeling because it's just like when you work with other artists, it's just, it gives you this humble feeling, but also get to see their way of looking at life, their way, like looking through a window within a window. It's like you're seeing their part of what they do and it reflects on you. And it's just like you guys come together as in one whole and it comes out this beautiful thing. I was in the studio yesterday and I'm working with DSYG and Danielle. We're working on a project right now. And what came out of that was just amazing just by us collaborating and just coming together and feeling comfortable. And now we have this great piece that we're working on right now that I can't wait to show you guys. It's going to be amazing. So it's been like that with a lot of great artists. And I'm also working with a couple other people, Aztec and Tommy Poppy. We're coming out with a couple of tracks too as well. That's about to be released soon. I also got involved with his name's Chris as well, which is so funny. Been meeting a lot of Chris's, by the way. But his name's Chris and he's from LA. He's a rapper, songwriter, producer, film director, and he does like amazing stuff. I'll send you his link. It's amazing.
Okay.
He's accomplished so much stuff. He's going to go on tour soon. He's going to be going back into Switzerland and stuff like that. But me and him worked on 3 different songs. So, I mean, it's just like I'm always working on projects with people. And these are people that I've known for quite a while that it's just kind of coming together like it's the perfect timing, if that makes sense, you know? Because some of these people that I worked with, like Honor Philip Productions and the gentleman I was talking about, Chris, I haven't worked with them in like over like 10 years. So it's just like it's coming back in and it's just like, oh my gosh. But everybody else like DSYG and Explorers, those are all new producers I worked with throughout the years and they're great. I love them so much. They're just talented young gentlemen. I'm so blessed to have such great wonderful people that I get to work with, you know. And same with the venue. Like the venue, they've helped me get some music out there, and I really appreciate them too. And it's just like you never, know what's going to come out of those type of things. And just being who you are and being, original. That's is it. That's what you get.
Well, the songs that you're talking about working with these other artists, are they songs you've written or are they songs that they have written but they wrote you in on? How's
Mo-
that?
yeah, most of them I've written, but there are some that we've collaborated where we both write. There's a few projects that I've done with mainly the stuff that I did with DSYG. That's mainly mine's. I don't really have too much. We've collaborated on some of them, but Explorers, that's all me. And we actually worked on, no, actually one of them we did do together because that one we collaborated together with the writing. So we do, when we collaborate, we do kind of like, because it's like I don't know how to explain it. Like it's kind of like an energy where it's like, oh, I got this idea, and then they'll come up with an idea, and it's just like, I see it, like this is great, like I love it, like it's just you gotta like feel it, and then when you feel it, you're like, yeah, it works. It's like, how about if we need like change it to this, or should we change it to that? And I love that because it works. You know what I mean? So like a lot of my music goes like that too as well. Even though like the majority of the time I'm pretty much like freestyling or writing, there are times where we do collaborate. Like for instance, like the one I was telling you, I was in the studio yesterday with Danielle and DSYG. We actually collaborated. I wrote it out, but then he came up with a couple of ideas, and then we ended up going with those ideas too as well. So it's both of us like working together as a unit. So we both did the writing together, and it worked because it sounds absolutely. It's gonna be amazing.
Well, well, it seems that you don't take someone changing a song as constructive criticism.
Oh
It
no.
seems like you look at it as, oh, well, this is something new, this is something different. I'm interested.
Yes.
You look at that in a positive light, where a lot of writers might look at it in a negative way and say, "What's wrong with what I've done? I think it's good enough. Why don't you like it?"
Mhm.
And they may put on a pretty face and say, "Oh, okay, well, yeah, sure, I'm interested in you changing my song," but it seems like you look at it a little bit different and say, "You know what? You're talented, so why don't we see what you got?"
Exactly. Yeah. No, I love that. That's the whole part of making music. I mean, like, if you're stubborn in your ways and you don't, like, listen to their side because they've been doing it as well. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's on a different level. I understand that, but regardless, if you work as a unit, if you work as like good energy, the song's going to come out amazing anyways. Because if you're being more like, "Oh, this is my song and I don't want anybody doing this to my song," you're being a diva. I call that being a diva. Like, it's you're never going to get anywhere with life because no one's going to want to work with you because you're not being open-minded. You have to be open-minded to music, and you don't take everything so. A lot of artists need to, like, understand, don't take things so seriously sometimes. Like, sometimes they do know what they're talking about, and then sometimes they don't. But a lot of times, like, when you're working with writers or you're working with other artists that are individuals that are doing this as a career, hear what they have to say. It's okay. It's okay to be like, "Okay, I'm going to change this little thing because it does sound better." You just have to, like, bring down your guard sometimes. Now, mind you, I know there are sometimes, there are certain people you can't bring your guard down because of the whatever conflict or things that you can be in the studio with other people. Because there are some people that are very pushy, and those are the type of people I avoid. I like to work when I'm working with artists or working with producers, I get a feel for them. So I'll FaceTime them. I'll be like, "Hey, how was your day? How are you?" And I have to feel their energy. If their energy is not a part of mine's, I don't pursue, because I want them to feel genuine to themselves and genuine to me. Because you can tell when someone's putting a front, and you can also feel the energy when someone is being real. Like, when I talk to people or I do like live podcasts, they're like, "Oh, that's Luna." Like, I never change. Like, it's literally me. So it's like, to have that, feeling, it's great, because I always say it's not all about me, because yeah, I'm a great singer. Yeah, I'm a good writer on certain things, but am I the best at all of it? No. Like, you can learn more things from different people. And that's what this whole life is about, is learning. So why not learn from each other and learn those little tweaks and learn those little things, because there's some things that people are really good at and some people that are not really good at. And that's okay. I don't want people to be like, "Oh, I have to do A, B, and C all by myself." You don't have to do it all by yourself. Find a community, find something that relates to you as an individual, find something that makes you feel connected. Because if you don't feel connected to those people, then that's not the right people for you. You got to feel like that family orientated type of, like, "You're a pain in the butt, but I'm going to help you because you're great." You got to have that good feeling when you're working with people, because if you don't have that feeling when you're working with other artists or working with producers, you shouldn't work with them, because it's just going to be awkward and it's going to feel weird and it's going to feel like, "Oh, I don't know. You want to feel comfortable in what you're doing and who you're around and what you put to the table.
Do you have community in your area for your music?
I have a little one, yes. But I do have a lot of people that I do work with that help me understand a lot better on, like, working with the community, putting my music out there, because I'm not, when it comes down to, like, emails, reading all this stuff, I'm horrible at. I'm super horrible. But when you put me in a studio and we're collaborating and we're writing together, that's where I shine the best, because that's something I love doing and I'm passionate about it and I'm good at it. Because there are some things that people are really good at, and there's some things that people are not so good at. I am not good when it comes to the technology, the tech stuff. I'm not good at that. Like, for instance, like podcasting and things like that. I'm not really good at things like that, but I bring it and I deliver. It's like, you gotta just kind of just gotta roll with the punches. I mean, there's gonna be some flaws, but hey, you gotta just make the best out of it. And I always try to keep myself in a positive mindset, because that gets me through my days. It's a big thing for me, is just being in a good mood, being in a good positive state of mind, because a lot things get done better that way than you dwelling on, "Oh, well, this and oh, well, that," like, nah, don't get that out. Like, just be happy in who you are and an individual, and just live your life and do music that you love. That's why I said if you collect things or you do things that you love, it makes you feel good, then you're on the right track. I mean, as long as you're happy, that's all that matters. Who cares what anybody else says? Because not everybody's going to love what you do, regardless if it's music or not. Like, just enjoy who you are as a person, as an individual.
Yeah. Why do you do music? What does music mean to you?
Why do I do music? Well, I do music for myself, but also for others because I feel like music could be a word and a feeling that people can't express within themselves sometimes. And I think that's a big thing because a lot of people now they bottle things up and they don't really release it. So for music, for me, is like I love doing music and writing my music because a one person can listen to something and be like, oh my God, that changed my life or changed how I feel. I was in a massive depression and you just changed my outlook of life. And to me, that's doing something amazing. Like, what more can I ask for? Like if I change somebody opinion because they listened to my music or it made them feel good or it made them more creative or it made them feel like they can accomplish anything, I did my job. Because that's what I do it for. I do it for not only myself, but I also do it for the people because I want people to have their voices heard where they can't really speak. And when people are locked in a box, as an example, they don't really express themselves. But when you listen to music, it's a part of them. That's why it's really great to like listen to like different types of styles of music because there's always a story behind the music. Always. Regardless if it's rock or if it's heavy metal or if it's pop or if it's jazz, there's always something behind it that relates to people that makes them feel whole. It makes them feel comfortable, or gives them good memories. Like music's memory too. Like that's why when you go to different like homes and stuff like that, especially with elderly, they put on certain music and it makes them feel good. I love doing music because of that, because that would make somebody change their way of looking at life and make them feel good and feel accomplished. That's why I do music.
Do you play any instruments?
No, unfortunately, I did try, but I did try guitar, but then I started getting like calluses on my fingertips and I didn't like it, and it was like ripping. I was like, oh no, I can't do this.
Oh, that's cool.
Piano, yeah, and the piano, I tried the piano, but it was too complicated. I could still try, if I put my mind to it, because you can do anything. I always say, don't come up with excuses. If you really want to do it, do it. But I was never really like drawn to it. Like, like music, like how I sing. I'm drawn to singing. I'm drawn to writing, and I'm drawn to listening to other people's creations. But if I was trying to create it myself, oh no, it wouldn't work. I'd be like all over the place. Cause one, I think way too much. And it's just like, I'll be like, oh, and this, and that, and this. And I'll be like, okay, I need to calm it down and be like, okay, I'm just going to stick with this because it's too much. It's too much sometimes.
How serious about music are you?
How serious about music am I? Let me see. That's a good question. I'm very serious when it comes down to reaching out to the people that need to hear it. I'm not too serious on, blowing up and being a huge pop star or rock star or anything like that. That's not my goal. That's not my end goal. If it comes to that, then that's great and I wouldn't mind it. But there's a lot more that goes into the music industry than what people see behind doors. So for me, it is important to do my music. I would never give up on it because I feel like if I give up on music, I'm giving up on myself. I don't, because a lot of music is that passionate to me. Like if you don't do your dreams and you don't do the things that you love, you're just giving up on your dreams and you're not pursuing it. You're giving up on yourself. That means you've given up. And I don't want to be that person that's giving up. So that's why I put my music out there and I don't overthink it anymore like I used to, because I used to overthink like, oh man, I really don't know if they're going to like it. I don't know if people are going to like my music. I don't know if they're going to love my music. It doesn't matter anymore. Like to me now, my mindset and the way I think is like, it doesn't matter. I'm putting it out there and it's going to be out there and it's going to gravitate to the people it needs to gravitate to. And for those that don't gravitate to, that's okay. Because it's not part of that. I'm not there for them. I'm there for the people that need to listen to that type of music, that need that uplifting, that are tired of listening to bad stuff, or they're having a bad day and they just want to wind down and just relax. That's what I do the music for. I do it for the people. I do it for people that want to be relatable on, like, I had a bad day and I listened to this song and I feel so much better now. That's what I mean by, like, if I do that for even 5 people, I did my job. You know what I mean? Because that's the best feeling, to know that I've changed somebody's outlook of life, or the way they think, or how they feel, by listening to my music and just jamming to it and just feeling good. Like, hey, I like this. Let's go. Like, it makes me happy to see people happy with my music. And I'm seeing a lot more of that. There's this one lady that told me, she was like, you do music? I was like, yeah, I do music. So I showed her a little bit of my music, and she's like, oh my gosh, you're really good. She's like, girl, I'm going to tell you, somebody's looking for you. Somebody's looking for you, because your music is just so on a different level. And I was like, but what do you mean by that? She's like, you're the feel, like when you sing, like, and how you put it out there. It's amazing. And I was like, oh, thank you. I didn't think she was going to take it like that impact, but she was really serious. And she actually invited me to a couple of things. And that's how I ended up getting opportunities also to do like a little bit of shows, because of that one, encounter that made her change her. If she was having a bad day and then she was like, this made me feel good. It made me feel something. I feel like I'm drawn to it because it made me feel something. Because a lot of people don't feel stuff anymore. Like, if you could listen to a song and you're getting goosebumps, you're on the right track. That means your frequency, your energy level is connecting. And not everybody's going to connect to my music, and again, that's okay. I'm not for everybody, but for those people that are lucky enough to know me and to know my music, I'm going to just say they're very blessed, because literally knowing me as an individual and knowing who I am and just knowing that I'm in an existence is amazing, because it's like what I do and how I've gotten to that point. That's why I love doing my music. So if anybody says, "Oh, do you take your music seriously?" Absolutely, I do. I take it very seriously, but I'm just not worried about the fame, the fortune that comes with it, because to me, just changing somebody's like look of life, or looking at somebody's way of thought and changing that by my music, that I like, again, I did my job. That's a beautiful feeling to me. I think everybody should feel that in what they do. You know what I mean? Like, when you can actually say, like, oh man, I did an impact on somebody. I actually made an impact for somebody. That's honorable. That's such an amazing feeling. And I think everybody should have that feeling, regardless of what their collections are, or what their music is, or their genre. If it makes them feel good, that's all that matters.
Well, do you think indie artists around the world should have that attitude towards their music?
I think they should, to a certain degree, but not really, because they're doing self-expression too as well. But it just depends on, do they know who they really are as an indie artist? Because a lot of people, like, anybody can do music and write songs, but are you really doing it for the people? Are you doing it for yourself? I mean, they have to really ask themselves those questions, because a lot of people nowadays that I've personally met, they're only doing it to make money. They're only doing it to make finances, and like, oh, I want a whole bunch of streams, so I'm going to work with this huge artist and I want to make money off of it. I want to make profit off it. There's nothing wrong with wanting to make money, but to put music out where you're not trying to, I don't know how to say it, like, what's the best way to say this? Like, when you're putting music out and it's something you just did because you wanted to make a quick dollar or quick money, you've already given up on yourself, because you're just putting stuff out now for just money. It's not who you are anymore. You've lost that spiritual alignment with yourself, where it's just like, whoa, I don't even know who I am anymore. Like, you got to still stay true to yourself. Like, if you can really 100% say, I am proud of what I've done, I am proud of the music I've done, you're winning. But if you're like, oh, I really wish I didn't do that song because it was so negative, or I really wish I shouldn't have done this, then you're failing, because you're doing something that you really don't want to do. You're just doing it for profit. So I think, like, is indie artists or any artist, I think they should still stay true to who they are as an individual, as a personality, as a vibe. You know what I mean? Because if you change that within yourself, especially if you make it big, I know a lot of artists that have made it big, that are signed artists that you know of, and they're depressed, they're unhappy, they lost who they are. They don't even know who they are anymore, and they just do stuff just to stick with the times, just to be in that moment with people and say, hey, I still have stuff coming out, but it's not the same. When you reach a certain level in fame, I believe that you lose a little part of yourself because you're so conflicted with your past and then your future. Like your past is you, that the struggle, the hard times, the grieving, the pushing through. You forgot all about that because now you're living in luxury and joy and all this other stuff, but then you feel empty because you don't have that spark anymore. So I think that people really should still have that spark. They shouldn't just do music just to do music. I think they should do music where it makes people feel. What I mean? Like, I don't know if that makes sense. I may be the only one in the world that thinks this way, but I
You
mean,
know,
it's
it
it's
it
really
does
it's really important to me.
it does make sense, and the reason I say that is because I've interviewed so many artists that I ask, and I planned on asking you as well, so I'll go ahead and do it. What is the top of the mountain for you as far as music? And what I expect is for someone to say, "Oh, I would like to sell out um, in Nashville, Bridgestone Arena, where the Titans play, at least for a little while longer." They want to, go on a world tour. They want to have, this and that, do it big time. That's what I expect. I've had one artist say, I would like to sell out arenas and do a small arena tour, maybe just, a handful of states or 3 or 4 months, 6 months, something like that. Not, a year and a half long tour where and it's blown my mind because so many people are like, that's not what I want to do because that's not me.
Yeah,
I would like to sell out every time I play a venue, which might be 20 people, 100
100
people,
people. Yeah,
120 people, but I don't want to perform in front of 50,000 people because
mm,
the stress of putting on that type show is so much different than, hey, I'm playing for, 20 of my friends and 5 people that just walked in the door because they heard live music and they're like, who's playing? You know,
yeah.
it, it's
No, it's
it's a
true.
different vibe. And it seems like so many indie artists are like, man, if I could pay the bills and be able to write music or play music, that's all I want.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
like,
That's me.
I don't
That's me in a
need
nutshell.
a mansion with 3 pools and I got 4 tour buses sitting in the back of the garage, waiting on my next world tour. People don't want that. At
Yeah,
least the artists that I've talked to, they don't want that. They seem like they're more attached to the art
yeah,
than I thought. And that's why I enjoy what I do because it's so surprising to me that so many talented people are just like, hey, man, if I could pay the bills and support my family and be able to get up in the morning, walk down to my studio and be in there all day and not have to worry about, oh, is the power going to go out? Oh, I missed a day of work or my
yeah,
alarm bit, stress like that. It just it blows my mind that so many people that have that talent,
yeah.
they're just like, I don't want that, you
I
know.
think it's also has to do with people waking up to their true selves though. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm gonna get into like little techno spirituality thing. But I mean, I'm not saying everybody has to agree with me or anything like that. I'm just saying like I think that's just people waking up to who they are and what their true like, because you like for instance, a lot of people that are in poverty, there are some of them in some countries and even, here in the United States, it's just like they're the most happiest people sometimes. But when you're wealthy and you're rich and you have money to do what you want, they're miserable. I've met so many of them. They're miserable. I was like, you can go anywhere around the world. You can travel, you can help. As like, if you're miserable, help somebody. Help them reach their goals. Help them reach what they need. Because there's people out there that will put in the work and all you need to do is help finance them. that will give you meaning. That will give you like, stuff that you can grow on. Like, that's why I'm like, even charities and stuff like that, like you can give back, you know? It's really important to give back to the communities too, because it's just like, there's a lot of people out there that are struggling, but, not to be a Debbie Downer, but like it's the truth. People aren't making the money they need to make. I mean, people can't even afford their own homes. Like, it's sad. I mean, it's really sad, but yet the people that are in poverty are still happy because they have their family, they're doing their best that they can. And the people that are in that negative mindset, they need to change that negative mindset, because they can get out of these situations and they can grow. But a lot of people, and same with artists, like artists, I've gone through a lot of artists where I'll meet them, they're great, but they're very bitter. Like, if they see somebody else succeeding in something that they're not succeeding in, they get jealous, and that's like, I'm like, what? I'm like, do you know how hard it took them to get where they are? Do you know how much work they put in to get where they are? It wasn't just given to them, you know? So for me, I like to surround myself with people that are positive, that are goal getters, that are wanting to do stuff with their life, that want to pursue their dreams, because that is what feeds my energy. Because it's just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, you got me wanting to do stuff because of all the stuff that you're doing. If you could inspire and spark that flame into somebody else or another artist, that's incredible. And I always told my friend Chuck, that was with Honor Flow Productions, I always said, I will never forget what he's done for me. Never. Same with all the other artists I worked with, all the producers I worked with, Genius, DSYG, Tommy Poppy, everybody, Explorers, all of them. I'll never forget them. Because if I ever get to that state where I'm a huge artist and I'm doing big things, I will never forget the little people that had helped me, because they're not little to me. They're the bridge that built me to where I am. Just like, the venue. I will never forget them either, because these are people that are giving you those steps to make that bridge for you to succeed. Why would you forget them? Why would you? Because you now have money, you have labels wanting you. I'm not that type of individual. I'm a person that's like, I will never forget the people that I have, that helped me grow and be who I am now. Because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be this version of myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you can be a person that influences other artists, but like, you can also be that person that humbles people and that also helps them get through what they need to get through. And when people have that type of money to support those type of artists that they really believe in, I think that's such a beautiful thing, because not only are you investing in somebody that you believe in, but you're also making that good connection with somebody on a good positive note, where you could say, I helped build this artist. I helped make this possible for this artist. To me, that's golden, because it's just like, you can never have so much more respect for that. But people forget that. People forget that. I've seen a lot of people in the industry that have forgotten the people that's got them there, and they just threw them off, because now they're wealthy and now they have all these things, but they forgot the little people that really pushed them and really helped them through those things. And it's just like, oh, they're no longer in existence in my world, because now I'm in this world. To me, I think that's the saddest thing, when people forget who they are and they're what started them for who they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes down to music. It's like, that's why a lot of artists, when they first come out again, their music's all beautiful and great. But then once they get signed and once they go on these world tours and they do all these things, they lose themselves. They're no longer happy. They feel empty. I mean, not to put him under the table, but look, Justin Bieber, like, he was this beautiful young pop star, and now he's like depressed and unhappy, and he has all these problems, you know what I mean, because of fame. And it's just like, man, because he lost who he was. He lost who he was as an individual. He doesn't really have his unique self anymore. He doesn't know who he is anymore. But that's because the industry did that to him, because they wanted him to be this person, and they wanted to mold him to be this way. And a lot of artists go through that. Like, tons of artists go through that.
So if a label came to you and wanted to sign you, would you be interested?
I would have to read over the contract, because I've actually had a couple of labels reach out to me already. But a lot of labels, I'm not going to mention the ones that there, but a lot of them want your masters. They want everything, and they give you like a percentage. And it's just like, wait a minute, like, so you're saying if I pass away, my family gets nothing, and you get all of my royalties. So even if I'm gone, you can put them in movies, you can put it in stuff, and my family doesn't get anything. A lot of contracts are like that. I understand it's a give and take, but it's really you got to really read over your contracts, because a lot of people, they go under when they sign with labels, and labels are really not that big of a deal anymore. Like, yeah, it's great to be signed because you get the publicity, you get the fame, but there's also other things that come with that I don't even want to get into, but it's a lot more than what people think. And a lot of stuff that's conspiracy is not conspiracy when it comes down to the music. And also, even same thing with when they're actors and actresses and stuff like that, there is a dark side to it that a lot of people don't ever see, that they don't believe, but it's there, it's true. Wow, I've seen it. So it's just like, you don't want to lose yourself in that. So if the contract says that I can do what I want to do and not be a puppet, basically, then I would consider it. But as of a single artist and working with who I want to work with, no, because once you sign with a label, you are only with that label. You can no longer work with other people. You can't work with people that aren't part of their label. You have to work with the individuals that they suggest for you, which is why a lot of artists collaborate with other artists. They don't go with somebody that's like for instance, as an example, let's say Billie Eilish hits me up and says, "Hey, I want to work with you, but you have to be with my label." I wouldn't be able to work with her, because if I'm not under her label, I can't work with her, because that there's a contract, that a part of that contract, where you are not allowed to work with people outside unless they come to you in that perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't work with just whoever you want to work with. You have to work with who they want you to work with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I don't want to be like that, because I like to work with other artists. And if I make a good living just doing little shows, and I, like you said, like how everybody wants to just pay their bills and do what they love, I'm winning. I'm winning 100%. I don't need to be a millionaire in a big mansion and a car. I don't want that anyway. That's not my lifestyle I want to do. I'm happy with a cute little cottage with a 2-bedroom, 2-bath fireplace. I am good, I don't need the big extravaganza. Like, I want $1 million home and a Bentley and a Rolls Royce. No, I'm okay with the little things, because those things don't matter. Those are materialistic things that you can't take with you anyways when you die. Like, just be around people that you love and be around the people that you gravitate to, and you'll know who you gravitate to, because you'll feel it. You feel like Warren. You feel like a cozy teddy bear. You know what I mean? Like, I've known this person for a long time. I don't know. I feel like I've known this person forever. Those are the people you want to gravitate to, because it's for a reason. It's for a purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. Who are your influences in music, and would they listen to your music?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, a lot of my influence artists that I like, a lot of them aren't around anymore, but I would have loved to have worked with Prince. I love Prince. Prince was amazing. He was a great artist. That would be somebody. If I think if he was still around, would he enjoy my music? Yes, 100%, because I'm staying true to myself, and I didn't falter. I didn't bend into something that I'm not supposed to. Another artist that is still around that I would really love to work with, that is also my influence, like me, is Sade. I love Sade. Her music just speaks to me on another level. It's just like, it's very it's very comfortable feeling. It gives me like that really humble feel that I really love. But I also love, again, like The Cure, Duran Duran. Like, that is just my music that I will listen to. I would never get tired of the 80s music. For me, it gets me lost in my headspace. I guess that's the best way to explain it. Like, when I listen to that type of music, I'm dancing, I'm in a good mood. It puts me in a good mood. I really, really love it. But I also, again, listen to heavy metal, which a lot of people are like, what? That's crazy. I do like heavy metal. I do like rock. I like Ghost. I like Sweet Token. I like Bad Omens. I love Korn. I listened to Slipknot back in the days, but I also like classic rock too. Like, classic rock was something I really enjoyed a lot. But I also I'm starting to see that I'm really getting more into the old, like, classic music, like from the 1920s, 1930s. Actually, it's influencing me a lot in my music nowadays, because I have one song that I did that was called Come On Baby. I don't know if you've ever heard it, but It's very like Dapper Day kind of sound because
Yeah.
it's like come on baby, tell me a little about your little self. Like I got that little thing in there.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's got that beautiful vibe. And my other one, my everlasting song, it's got like that really cool unique sound where it's like a funk. It's like doom 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 doom. I love it. It's just like it gives you that like feel where you want to dance. Those type of things I love putting in my music because I think that's such a vibe. And that's why I loved working with DSYG. He's such a great producer. If you haven't checked him out, definitely check him out. He's a great producer, great person. His music just he's got this sound that it's inviting and it's like kind of comforting, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So I have a lot more songs with him than any other producer right now. But it's been amazing. I really really love it. But back to the question on like people that have influenced me and that I love and that I wish, how would they like a lot of the artists that I look up to? I think they would like my music because it's original. It's not like, and what I mean by original, it's me. Like it's me in a nutshell. So that's what I mean by original. I'm not saying the lyrics and the words because the words and lyrics, they're repeated in tons of different songs. But the way I'm delivering it, the way I'm making people feel, the way it comes off, I'm very proud of myself. I'm very proud of my music and I love it. No one can tell me like, even if they didn't like it, they can't tell me like, oh, it was okay. No, it's amazing. To me, it's amazing. It's gonna be great when people hear it, and I'm gonna blow up like Amy Winehouse one day. Everybody's gonna be like, oh my God, she's like the next like big thing, and I'm gonna hit them so hard that it's gonna be like blown their way. Like, where was this person? Like, how does she just come out of the blue? I see her everywhere. I have a feeling that's what's gonna happen.
Well, explain the writing process for your music.
The writing process, ooh, well, again, I don't really write too much. I do write, I'll come up with ideas. What I usually do is I'll come up with concepts. And I'll come up like, okay, what am I trying to sing about today? How am I feeling? I'm feeling good. So I'm going to sing a song about joy, okay? Or I'm going to sing about sadness, or I'm going to sing about love or compassion. So I'll write down, or I'll even be like, oh, let's ice cream, lollipops. What am I feeling today? Baking, cinnamon, whatever. I'll go through these little windows in my mind and I'll write them down. And I'll be like, okay, today I feel like doing dreams. I'm like, what do I want in dreams? Because there's so many different ways you can go with dreams. So I'll start breaking it down. Like, what do I want it to be like? Do I want it to be like a dream that is within a dream? Or do I want it to be like a dream that people can relate to? Or do I want it to be a dream of how I'm feeling? Like, reaching out to somebody that you can't see or feel, or are they in a different universe? Are they in a different, this is how my mind thinks when I get into my writing creative part. But most of the time when I do my recordings, I just freestyle. So again, most of the time when the producers send me the music, I'll go in put my GarageBand on, put my headphones on, never listen to the beat before, and I'll just go with the feeling I have. And that feeling could give like fun, funky. It just depends on how my mood is, or I heard a great story today at work or something, or I felt like somebody told me something that influenced me to write something, and then I'll just kind of like sing about it. And then once I sing it, I'll write it down of what I did, and then I'll do like adjustments on I don't really like this part, but I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to move this to this, and I'll clean it up, and then that's how I do my music. But the majority of it, a lot of my songs, if you heard some of them, like Everlasting, a lot of my songs with DSYG, those are all freestyles. Those are all me just going into like listening to his music and me just freestyling it. And then I just write it down afterwards.
Well, I know music video and shorts are huge right now, and that people consume more music through video and shorts than
Yeah.
they do just simply playlist or Spotify or things like that. Do you think it would be easy for a videographer to produce a music video to one of your songs?
I'm gonna say yes, because my songs, the way I want to deliver, I have a vision, and I'm not a complicated type of person. I mean, I can shoot a whole video in a coffee shop with candlelit. I'm perfect. That's fine for me. Because a lot of my songs that I have that are out are very jazzy, are very really nice in that perspective. It's like kind of got that good feeling. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
think of like a nightclub, like candles, things like that. So it would be easy to shoot that to a certain thing, but I would also want to know what their vision is, because that's important to me. Because even though I have my own vision, I still want to hear their vision because it could be better. You know, you got to give people that chance. You got to give people like that way to be creative, because they're doing it because they're creative. They're artistic in their own right. You know what I mean? So if an artist that is going to be filming me, or a producer, or anybody that's doing like film, I would like them to know me as an individual first. So they kind of know my little quirkies and my little personality traits, so they can relate it to the video, because I want it to be as authentic as I can be. I don't want to be an artist that somebody just molds into and say, this is what you're going to be. I'd rather be myself, so people actually are getting the real me.
Would you say you have a vivid imagination?
Yes. 100%. Absolutely. I'm a Pisces. So, we are always rose colored glasses. Just saying. But I mean, when I listen to my music, I always get like a vision of how I want the video to be, or how I want the video to look, because it just makes you feel like, oh, I can see this, like walking down the forest, or I could see color, I could see confetti, I love doing stuff like that. I think it's really, I always wanted to do film, never got into it, but I always wanted to do film because I always thought it was such a great way of expressing your mind, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because when you can visually see certain things, colors, music, standpoints, visuals, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Well, have you ever thought about actually doing a music video for one of your songs?
I do. I have 2 music videos out that I've done, with, of course, artists that I was working with. But for myself, I have not done one that is just by myself, but I am working towards that, because unfortunately, music videos, they're very pricey.
Yes.
Even for the low ones, they're like, you're looking at like $1,500 that are, like, want to film you, and it's just like, when you don't have that type of money to be blowing on that, it's really hard. But it is a good investment into yourself. I think everybody should do it. It's just like right now, I have to, like, it's either like eat or you don't eat. So it's could be difficult. But even though I'm not financially where I want to be, I don't look at it in a negative. I think of it in a positive, because I know I'll be there one day. It's going to be a struggle. Everybody struggles. It's not a sob story. Like, everybody goes through their stuff and ups and downs. And I'm sure there's going to be, in the right time, in the right place, there will be somebody that will reach out to me and that will help me. Or I could just go get a loan and do it. But I do want to do music videos. I actually have somebody in mind that I want to have these music videos with, because I really like the way they do their film. It's just getting it timing, the right place, the right time, and just making sure you have the finances to do so. If I had the finances to do so, where it's just like, oh, I could dish out like $1,000 or $500, I would have already done that a long time ago. But unfortunately, with my circumstances right now, it's like, I can't do that, because it's either you pay for that or you don't eat. So it's like, because right now, paycheck to paycheck is where I'm at. But it's okay, because I'm not going to be there forever. And that's why I always look at the brighter, way of looking at life, because things happen for reasons. And, you just got to keep positive. Don't dwell on, I don't have enough money. No, who cares? You'll make it. You'll get there. Just as long as you have that vision. And I have like a storyboard. So basically, I'll have a storyboard. And so when that time does come, it's already ready. Like, I already have it, like, okay, this is my idea. What do you think? And then we'll shoot from there.
Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
Both. I'm both. I'm going to say both, because as I've gotten older, I want to be home and watch like my anime, bake, read a book, like that's kind of like what I do. But I am also an introvert, where I want to be outside and go like to nature. I love doing hikes. I love walking. I like going to like if there's like a river or something like that I can go to, or go kayaking, or anything that's got to do with nature. I really like doing that because that's kind of like me releasing a lot of like any kind of tension, because it really does. I do grounding where you like, you take your shoes off, you go on grass
Yeah.
and you just like relax and enjoy your day, like have a picnic, something very simple. You don't need a whole extravaganza. But I always like to do that. So I like both of those things. That's why I say both. But as an individual, I'm more of an introvert because I do like to be home. I'm more of like a cozy kind of like I'm gonna bake cinnamon rolls type of thing and decorate like, like typical Hallmark type of person. But it brings me joy though. I love it. Because I have my routines that I have, but most of the time I'm working. Even if I'm not at my full-time job, I'm working on music, or I'm doing podcasts, or I'm interviewing with other artists, or I'm working on different projects. Like I told you, like next week I'm flying out to LA to do a show, and then I got to fly back, and then I have another show on the 19th. So when I have my own time, it's kind of like I just want to relax and breathe. I stay home and just kind of relax and breathe. You know what I mean? Because you got to have
Yeah.
a day for yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. What other talents do you have besides music related talents?
What other talents do I mean, I am a good baker. I like to bake. I don't bake all the time, but I am a decorator. That actually, no, being a decorator, I love decorating. When it comes down to holidays, festive things like that, I am super big on that because I think it's so important to have that feeling of joy and goodness. So when I decorate for Halloween or decorate for Christmas, my house and my decoration, it looks like a Hallmark, something you'd see in a Hallmark movie. Uh, but I enjoy it because it makes me happy. I love watching like fall videos because I'm a fall girl. I just think like seeing the trees and them change the colors they change, it's just like, it's so amazing. I just love it. And I just think it's so cool. And when you get into that mood, you're like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go through, watch some Twilight, or I'm going to watch like some kind of scary movie or something. To have the decorations and to have that warm and cozy feel, I think that's what makes me feel so comfortable. And I love coffee. Coffee's my thing. I drink coffee every day. So like, especially on those cold nights or something, you just have that cup of gel and you're like, okay, this is my day. I'm going to love it. It's great. And it just makes my whole day. Like I get happy off of coffee, right? It's the most randomest thing, but it's a comfort thing for me. So every morning when I get up in the morning, I always have a nice hot a cup of coffee every day. And right now I drink it mainly black, but sometimes I do lattes and cappuccinos because those are my things. I'm like, I like the little decorations and pastries.
You want to mix it up just a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of like the music that you sing, you just mix it up a little bit. It's going to be something a little different here, something a little different there. Keep you
Yeah.
guessing, right?
Pretty much, you got to keep your life interesting. You got to love what you do. That's all I got to say. I always tell people, do what you love to do, what makes you happy, what makes you shine the brightest, and focus on that. And when you do the things that you're good at, like if podcasting, for example, if that's something you love doing and you are good at it, keep doing it. Who cares what anybody else says? Because that's how most of them start off anyways. They start off with little tiny things and then it grows. And then before you know it, you're like with millions of people that are listening to your stuff and like, oh, I wonder who's gonna interview this time. It's like you just don't give up on it. Just keep doing it. And you're doing what you want to do. That's the same thing I do with my music. Like when I do my music, I'm doing what I want to do. Like that's what I want to do. I want to do music. Nobody can tell me no. Nobody can tell me how to live my life. That's who I am.
Well,
And I think that's important.
I agree with that 100% because trust me, what I'm doing costs money, just like what you're doing. And I'm not getting the views that I think I should be getting. I'm not getting the interest that I think I should be getting, but that's okay because I enjoy talking to artists. I
Yeah.
enjoy talking to musicians, people that do what I wish I could do, but I can't. So I love hearing their stories. I love
Yeah.
music more than anything else. And I
Do you
love,
write music or sing or anything like
no,
that?
I can't do anything. That's the reason I interview people that can, is because I
Oh,
can't.
I see.
So I want to know what it's like from your point of view. If I met you in a bar somewhere this is what we would be doing. Would be drinking beer or wine or whatever, and we'd be talking about music. And I would literally talk to you until the place closed, just because music and creating music is so interesting to me. I love
Yeah.
music. It's not a certain style. I love all music. I
Yeah.
There's music I cannot understand the vocals because they're being screamed at me.
Yeah.
But
I know how that feels.
I
It's
enjoy
true.
the art of the music, the song. That's someone else's art that they're expressing. I may not understand it. I may not even like it, but I appreciate it. And
Mm.
you know, as we spoke earlier, rose colored glasses. I
Ah,
try to look at
rose-colored glasses.
I try to look at all music through rose colored glasses
Dice. That's
because
awesome.
if I could write, if I could sing, if I could play, what genre would I be put into? I might be like everyone else and say, don't put me in a box.
Don't put you in a box, yeah, because you can do everything. You can do anything.
I can sing an Americana song. You can give me a different guitar or a different keyboard and I can do death metal,
Mhm.
and
I can
it
see that. I can see that. I can see you doing like 80s. I can see you doing like rock, but I also can see you doing like Michael Bublé, like kind of like, you know, stuff like that.
okay, okay. What about a little
With
Frank
this-
Sinatra?
Yeah, there you go. Frank
Huge
Sinatra. That's
fan,
what I'm talking about. I can
huge
see that.
fan. Love me some Frank. But what what emotions are easiest for you to write about?
Emotions that are easy for me to write about. I would have to say all of them because literally I go through all of them. So again, it's just kind of like, when you go through different emotions, it's just it varies, you know what I mean? Cuz sometimes you could be in a good mood or happy or sad or depressed, and what comes out of that is completely like different. And I think when it comes to my like when I do music or writing or anything like that, it goes mainly based on how I'm feeling. So it's kind of like if I'm having a good day, I'll sing about something about being in a good day. Or if I'm having a bad day, I sing about something that will make the day better. Because it's kind of like me speaking to myself. Because the way I do my music is if I was to listen to a song, would I listen it to if it wasn't me? And that's how I write my music because the songs that I make and that are out, that is a part of me that people don't realize that it's me in a nutshell. Because what they hear is me, like going through those experiences, going through those like, emotions, or feeling that way about someone or about something or about what's going on in my world, I guess you could say. But it's still the truth. It's like, and when I'm feeling really, and lately I've been really good in good moods, which is why a lot of my music's really like happy, fun, go lucky type of music. So, but I love that because it gets me in a good headspace. But I also have music that's like where you want to wind down, and just relax. Like I have a song called Well Wishes, and it's basically about me coming home, having a cup of wine, having a bubble bath, and relaxing. And because that was what the day was. And that's what came out. And it's just like, but a lot of people can relate to that, men or women, because it's like when you have a long, rough day, you just want to go home and relax, regardless of what that looks like for you. It's like you can still relate to it because it's just like, oh man, I know how that feels. Because when you're tired and you're like, man, I'm so tired, I don't want to do anything, but you end up pushing yourself to do those things. That is what my music's about. It's just like, oh man, I feel that.
It's
So, I
you.
mean, emotions and stuff like that, what I put in my music, that's kind of like what I do when it comes down to emotions. So, it's not like one particular emotion that I go with, like, oh, I'm only going to be good with this one. No, I'm good with everything because it's like I go through different emotions every day. Some days are great days, some days are not great days, but you got to change your outlook of life and just make it into a positive. Even if it was a negative day, make it into a positive. Change your chain of thought because if you don't change your chain of thought, your whole day is going to be ruined. And you don't want that because then you're going to be depressed and unhappy. And yeah, you don't want that.
Well, if you go to bed depressed, you're going to wake up depressed.
Absolutely, 100%. I'm so glad you said that because I say that to people and I'm like, you guys, if you think that way, you're going to wake up to that and it's not going to be great, you know? So just look outside the box and just be happy and change. I have a second, it's a 17-second rule I do. When somebody comes into my job and they give me this worse attitude, like, I mean, where they're having a bad day, and I know they're probably going through something, I don't take it personal. But if they make me upset, I got the 17-second rule where I'm like, okay, change it. We're going to think positive, love, compassion, joy. Take a deep breath and everything's going to be fine. And then it changes. But if I dwell on that one person that ruined the day or feels like they ruined the day, you're going to be dwelling on it all day and you're going to be getting more people that are like that.
Right.
Isn't that crazy how that happens?
Yeah,
I thought, it was yes.
I agree with you 100% because
Right?
I've run into the exact same thing. The first person I deal with at work is just bad juju all the way around, and you can't fix it. So you got to walk away from it. But if you keep thinking about it, you're going to find the negative, even in a positive interaction, because
Yeah.
your brain is already over here and says, okay, I'm having a bad day. You're having a bad day. You've been up for an hour or 2 hours. How are you going to let 2 hours dictate your entire day?
You're exactly. No,
And
I agree. I agree.
I've had to grow into this because people have asked me at 9 o'clock in the morning, "Hey man, how's it going?" Man, I'm having a bad day. They're like, "It's 9 o'clock in the morning. How are you having a bad day?" Now, if it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, yes, but you still have so much day in front of you.
Yeah. Isn't
And
that crazy?
and I've had to tell myself, I'm not going to let one person ruin my day. Now, if you run across 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people and they are negative, that's different. Sometimes
Yes.
you got to say, you know what? I'm going to chalk this one up to a bad day. But before I go to bed, I'm going to find something positive
Yep.
because
Yep.
I'm not going to let these people ruin. They've already ruined my day. They don't get to ruin my night.
Yes,
They are
exactly.
not that special.
Yeah. See,
You
that's when
better
you put
be.
on a good movie or you just like have a nice drink and you just relax, you know?
Hey man, I'll take a craft beer sitting out back with my dog, watching my deer and watching my turkeys. That's a good day for me. And if you come
Yeah.
out there and you try to ruin that, now we have problems.
Yep.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't need you in my life at all if you're trying to ruin that. That is how I chill out and calm down.
That's amazing. Nah, no, that's exactly how I am. I'm the same way. I just don't let people ruin your day. Don't let anything negative. And the people that are negative is just because they got a lot of stuff going on in their life. And I don't ever blame anybody or say, oh, this and that. I don't even get into that mindset because it's just like it's such a waste of energy.
Yeah, yeah,
It's such a waste of energy. It's just like, come on, you can do better. You just gotta let people do them and just, like let them feel what they need to feel and just push on. I mean, I only keep myself around people that are like really positive or really good or again, goal getters, ambitious. I love that because that's what people get done. They get things done. They don't procrastinate. They're doing. There's a difference between procrastinating on something and doing something. I do stuff. I don't procrastinate. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm doing it. And I never go back on that. I always I always try to learn and get better because I mean, I'm always learning every day. So even regardless of how old you are or how young you are, you're always in a learning process. And that's something that I think a lot of people forget because they think like they know everything and you don't. You never know what will happen in the future, present, past, what's going to happen. You just got to be in that mindset where it's like, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is what's working for me. And just keep it to that point. And if anybody else is bringing you down for that, cut them out of your life because you don't need that. You don't need the drama.
right.
You don't need the drama.
If you could have a drink with anyone in the music industry, dead or alive, who would it be?
Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, I was a really big fan of Incubus, and I did get to meet them all. I got to meet Brian and Boyd and everybody, but he was somebody that I was a really big fan of growing up when I was younger. And I was in love with this man for so long. I mean, my like I was so in love with this artist that I was like, I just wanted him to know that I existed. That was it. That I existed. And when I met him in San Antonio, I was like super excited because I was like, "Oh my god, I got to meet him." And it was the best blessing and the best time of my life because I actually got to meet this individual and he was exactly the way I thought he was going to be. So if I could have another drink, it would be with him just so I can see where his mind's at, to see where he is with his music. Where did he travel off to? What inspired him? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
what made him in like to what he is. Because I mean, I have a lot of artists I would love to have a drink with, like Sade and Prince and everybody, but Brandon was somebody that I really liked. I gravitated to that person, that music, that sound, that personality, even though he was like a shy type of person. But once you got to know that person, it kind of comes down and they're more comfortable.
Yeah.
But it was pretty amazing. But yeah, I would definitely wouldn't mind having another drink with him and being like, so how's life? Tell me about it. Cheers. you know? What about you?
What about me?
Yeah, what about you? What would be your artist that you would want to do a drink with?
Frank Sinatra.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it. I could see that. That would be
Frank
awesome.
Sinatra.
Cheers to that. That's
Or,
amazing.
or,
Yeah.
or Prince.
I love Prince too.
Or Hank Williams.
Mmm.
Maybe all three of them.
That would be
Tell
cool.
you what, I would create my own Rat Pack.
That would be so
I would
cool.
have the original Rat Pack and then Rat Pack 2.
What? That would be cool.
And
That would be cool.
we would sit in a bar, smoke cigars, drink bourbon, talk about music, and shoot
Yes.
pool.
When it comes to drinks, I'm a whiskey girl. I like
Yeah.
whiskey
Like,
sometimes.
I wanna drink bourbon with Frank Sinatra and Hank Williams.
That'd be awesome. Yes, I could see that. That'd be amazing. Ah, he's such a great artist. He's one of my favorites too. I also like Sarah Brightman and Enya. I love them too. Like they were just so mystical and dreamy to me because Sarah Brightman, she does opera, but she also makes it like more than just opera. It was just amazing how she did it. And Enya, like her music was just mystical. I just loved it. Like what? Like the stuff that she came up with was just absolutely crazy. I even liked Bjork. Bjork was crazy too. She
Well,
was a
it
crazy
kind of
artist.
seemed like Enya Kane just blew up and was there all of a sudden and just top of mind for anyone in music and then just gone.
Yeah.
Just kind of disappeared.
Yep.
And it's a shame. And that's what I hate about the music business is what happened to all these artists that blew up and had such a fan base. And you could tell they were talented because they brought their music, but they put their own little twist on
Yeah.
it. And they had such a following and they were just killing it. And now they're just gone.
Yeah.
Where'd they
That's
go?
true. I think it's because they lost who they were, and some of them, they have families and then that was their focus, like India Arie, like she was like that too. She was amazing. She was huge. She was in movies. She was in everything. And then all of a sudden it's like, where'd she go? What happened to her? And it's just like, after she had her kids, like she just focused on that.
Yeah.
They still did music. They just didn't get the publicity that they needed because unfortunately labels, they do that. They blackball you. And it's just like, if you could be really hot artist one day and not a hot artist the next day because you're not playing the game the way they want you to play the game. So unfortunately, that's a real thing. So, and I've heard my fair share of stories from other people that have told me their stories on that. And I'm just like, that's so messed up. But they do that not only to music, but also actors and actresses as well.
Yeah. And I've asked artists in the past, do you have staying power? And they look at me like, what does that mean? I said, well, you told me you have 200 unfinished songs, and you told me you have enough songs for not only the album that you're fixing to release, but you're already working on the next album, and you've already got the set list for the album. Do you have staying power? Are you going to be relevant 10 years from now?
Yeah.
Well, of course I'm going to be relevant. Are you sure? Well, yeah. How are you going to be relevant? Because I will be. That's not an answer.
No, that's not an answer.
How are you going to be relevant? Even if you don't sign with a label, or if something happens and the band breaks up, but you wrote these songs, you played the guitar or the drums or the keyboards on these are your songs.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
So
still
legacy.
relevant on the indie scene? Because you don't have a label, you don't have people telling you what you can and can't do or where you can and can't play. Yeah, you got to get out there and hustle
Mm-hmm.
to make
And the
this.
hustle is real. The hustle is real. When you're not trying to sell out, the
Well,
hustle's
well,
real.
well. For the people that don't know, tell them about the hustle.
The hustle's weird because it's like you have to put everything out yourself. You have to do everything yourself. Like, I mean, if it takes you going out, that's why I always say get involved with communities. This is a suggestion I would give to other artists. Like, get in your communities, find something you could branch out your music to, so you can like show them, do performances, do like things that are gonna will you in. Because a lot of the fan base that I have right now, I have like on my Instagram, I think it's like 1,000 something. That was all in a year because of just networking and putting myself out there as an individual. Because when you don't hustle like that, when you're not putting music out every month, or you're not keeping the adrenaline going, in other words, it starts falling and it crashes. And then you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. No, keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Even if you have a wall that breaks you and you're like, oh man, I have writer's block or something, still do something, still try, still be productive. Like, always constantly do it no matter what. Make it a repetition, make it a part of your life. It's discipline. Make it a discipline in your life. If you really want to be an artist and you really want to get out there, you have to have discipline. You have to make what works for you. Don't come up with excuses and do what you need to do. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's a struggle. But if you keep at it, the one person you're going to, in the right time, in the right place, they will be investors there that will invest in you because of the work you put in, and they can see the potential that you bring to the table. Because as long as the labels can say, hey, can I make money off this person? That's what they want to know. Can I make this money off this person? Is this person marketable? Does this person have the look? Does this person have the personality that can make it to that point? If you don't have that in yourself and you don't believe that in yourself, you're never going to make it. Because if you don't believe in your own music, who's going to believe in your music? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you do not believe in your own music, how are you supposed to do music for a living if you don't even believe in it yourself? That's crazy to me, because you're already setting yourself up for failure because you're not putting the actions towards yourself to get to where you need to be. You're literally just staying stagnant. You're staying stagnant and you're not growing. And a lot of people are like, oh, I did an album like 3 years ago. Okay, where's the new one? Where did it go? Have you been working on it? Have you been persistent? That's great that you got an album and you made it that far, because some people don't even make it that far. But are you being consistent? Are you making, it's like working out. If you work out every day or wake out like 4 times out of the week, you're investing in yourself. You're investing in your health because you know you need to be in shape. You know you're going to be traveling a lot, especially when it comes down to tours, because you're living out of a hotel. You're living out of like apartments and long trips, and you're going to be tired. That's what I mean by like the struggle is real, because a lot of artists that are doing that, it is hard. That is not easy to live out of a apartment complex and renting and going to different, like, and living out of a bus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's hard. A lot of people think like, oh, it's not hard to live out of a bus. Yes, it is when you're traveling with 5 other people in a band or something like that. Like, that's hard. You don't even have time for yourself. You don't even have time for thinking. It's like, okay, we have a show, we have 5 shows and we have to do 5 shows all night. Like, that is the grind I'm talking about. That is the struggle in it. Because if you don't do any of that stuff, you're not going to get anywhere, because you're not putting in the work. You're not putting you think a label's gonna invest money into somebody that's not doing anything for themselves? No. No, they're not. They wanna know if you're marketable, are you good looking, are you something that people would be interested in, would pick up on? That's what they look for. They don't look for then basically like, "Hey, can this person make me money? Are they good enough to make money?" Because they can make you a pop star. They can mold you to the way you want to be or how they want you to be. But it's like stay true to yourself. So like when you're doing the hustle, it's like you're doing that all by yourself and it is hard. And you can't do it by yourself. I'm going to be real with people right now. Like you cannot do it by yourself. You have to have connections and organizations that help you. Like, you know, that's why I say, like, even if you have a couple of people in your life that do showcasing or that are DJs that can help you get into these like, you know, festivals or get you into the different stuff like to help you. Do it. Do it. Don't sneer at it. Even if it's for 5 people, do it because those 5 people might just like follow you back. And then now you're inspiring them and then they tell their friends and their people and now you're blowing up and now you're streaming because of what you've done because you went to that one little hole in the wall and did like a show. So I think that people when they do those little type of shows and you have to give back too. You can't always I mean, it took me a while to get paid gigs like I am now. But for the first time, like I didn't get paid for my gigs, but I had to do that. I had to sacrifice that because if I really wanted to get myself out there, I had to do free work. I had to do the performances for free. But now that I'm more established and now I'm more up there and more people know me and now I'm making a name for myself, now they're paying me because they're like, she's an established artist. She's not just, you know, a random person that's just doing music. She's actually pushing through and she's making those connections. And now we have like different labels like interested in us and it's just like, whoa, it's like a whole turnaround. But I had to bust my butt to get there. I had to bust my butt. And what I mean by that is I had to work every day. I had to work out. I had to have my mind right. I had to have my energy right because the way you feel in the morning, the way you take your days, the way you feel motivated, you have to motivate yourself because nobody's going to motivate you but you. So you have to take that initiative and invest in yourself. That's why I say everybody needs to invest in themselves. Like it's great to listen to other people, but really you have to focus on yourself because guess what? At the end of the day, you have to do it on your own. It's not going to be done for you. It's kind of like this little thing a person told me I really love. He told me he was very religious and I'm not a religious person like that, but it really struck me because I couldn't understand where he was coming from. He's like, when you do a good job, and you know you're trying to get somewhere. You get God sprinkles a little juice on you, like it's little sparkles. Like, okay, I'm gonna give you little sparkles. I see you're trying. I see you're doing. But once you stop doing that, you don't get those sparkles anymore. So when you constantly do it, you're getting more sparkles and more sparkles and more sparkles. Not only are you growing as an individual, but you're also growing as an artist and you're also growing as a person. And you're molding that into like a beautiful ball of light. You know what I mean? And that's what you give to the world. And it's just like to being known and recognized like that is the most beautiful thing to me. Cause I think that a lot of people, they're just money hungry and they don't really do the art the way they should, you know? And I think I mean, gosh, now they're doing AI. So like they have videos and music out there that are AI that aren't even real singers. It's mind blowing.
Do you, since you've grown in your art, do you still work on music every day?
Every day. Every day I work on music. It's like it's an investment in myself and who I am. Because if I'm not working and what I mean by working every day, I'm not saying I'm singing every day and I'm writing music every day. No. I'm networking. I'm making the connections. I'm putting myself out there. I'm doing shows. I'm going into events that I'm invited to network, to talk to other people. That is me working on my music every day because it's not just singing and writing. You have to do the other part of it too, which is also networking, getting into podcasts, working with people that are interested in you. I had one person that actually did cover for me for a magazine because they were like, oh my gosh, it's just you're so great, I love it, can we do an article on you? And they did an article on me and I was so honored because I was like, wow, you guys like my music enough where you guys did an article on me. That's great. And it was really great and I have it on my Instagram. And those things wouldn't have happened if I didn't network, if I didn't work hard, if I didn't go to these, you know, invites. You know, when you get invited to certain things like The View or like, anything like that. Like, you can meet people and network in that whole. Some people are designers, some people are musicians, but they also do photography, they do digital work, there's so many people in that circle that can help you get to like where you need to go, like, and that's what I think is such a great thing. That's what I mean by a community. That is a community in itself. But find a community that's around you, because not everybody's going to have a community to go for. But if you find those little windows where you can find things like the venue and stuff like that that help people get to where they need to go, or at least open those doors for people, that is in the right, like the right timing. Like, that's what you need. And if they don't have that and they think they're going to make it big and huge, you're dreaming in la la land. You got to put the work in. You got to put the work in. If you don't put the work in and you're not networking yourself, you're not putting yourself out there, you're not doing professional shoots, no one's going to take you seriously. They're going to be like, "Oh, you're a dreamer. You're not really taking it seriously." You got to really have the keys if you really want to make it. You got to have your photos done. You got to have your music videos. You got to have your podcast. You got to reach out to other people. You got to have the music in general, like that you relate to, and get feedback from your people that are listening to your music. What is it about that music that you like? What is it about it that you don't like? Take those type of things into wishing as well, because that will help you mold you as an artist and as an individual, because sometimes you're not always right. And sometimes when people are saying, "I wish you could do it more like this," it's not because they're trying to be mean or disrespectful. It's just that they see potential in you that you're not giving yet.
Okay. What traits does a good singer have to have? And do you have those traits?
What traits does a good singer have to have? Oh, humbleness. I think you need to be humble. I think you need to be a humble person as an artist. I think that's very important. Don't be a diva. It's okay to feel your music and be like, "Oh, my music's great," but don't be a diva. What I mean by a diva is people that think their stuff is just everything, and their attitudes are just really snarky and not great. Let's just say that they're just they're not great. I met a couple of divas, and I'm like, "Oh, you're not a nice person." Like, you are so far in la la land that you think that people really like you. The way you act and treat people is very rude and disrespectful. And to me, it's not a characteristic I would want to listen to somebody with that type of energy. That's why you got to be careful on who you work with too. Cause, I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're kind of up against the wall on this interview. Hopefully, one of many, because I have had such a great time and I have so many questions that we didn't get to that I really want to talk to you about. But I like to end all my interviews by asking my guest, what are two questions that you've never been asked in an interview that you wish someone would ask you? And what are the answers to those questions?
Hmm. That's a tough one.
And well, one of the questions that I offer up in this situation is, how are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, I'm doing good. I mean that's a good one, because a lot of people don't ask how are you as a person, as an individual. Like, where's your mind at? Where is your headspace? Are you in a good place? Are you in a bad place? Because a lot of people don't worry about anybody but themselves. And for somebody to say, "Hey, how was your day today?" That means a lot, especially when you're doing an interview, because it's just like a lot of people don't ask that. They're only about themselves, and they don't really push that forward and really think about, "Hey, you know, this is what I wanted to ask," or something.
Yeah.
I think when it comes down to it, what a lot of people I wouldn't mind them asking is how I deal with everything in my life and still make it happen. Like, how do you do all this and to work and do all this stuff and still make it happen and be in a positive mindset? I mean, if people can ask that more to people, I think they'd feel more comfortable and more at ease and more like seen, I guess you could say, like
Yeah.
being seen.
Yeah.
I think that would be like one of those that I'd be like, if someone was like, hey, so tell me, how do you do it? How do you do this? Because it shows interest and it shows that they're actually taking you serious as a person, and also taking your art seriously. You know what I mean? Because people can say whatever they want, but
Yeah.
they never really focus on really who are you? Who are you? Like really. Like
Yeah.
what are your things? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So but I love that question though, how you're like, how are you doing? Because that's a great one.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of this interview. And I really, really would love to have you back because
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I have so many questions to go through, but we just don't have time on this one. So,
Yeah, no.
um,
I had a great time. Thank you for having me. And thanks for just being the best person you are. And I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to interview me, talk about things that I like. You know, it's really cool. And I think what you're doing is amazing, and keep doing what you're doing. Don't let anybody filter you or anything. And hopefully if I have a show out in where you're at, you know, I'll
yeah.
give you a ring and be like, hey, you want to come to one of my shows?
Well, of course I want to come to one of your shows. So if you're ever in Nashville or the Middle Tennessee area, let me know and we'll definitely hook up. Um,
Yeah.
where can everybody find out stuff about you? What are your
Oh, you guys can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music under I'm Luna Music 1. And it's spelled I-M, no A, music, and then the Luna Music, and then the number 1.
Are you sure?
Yep. I'm Luna Music 1.
All right. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this interview, if you'll leave me a comment below. If you didn't enjoy the interview, if you'll leave me a comment and tell me why you didn't enjoy it, and we'll see you on the next one.
All right. Bye.
The one everyone talks about. Can you be